So, back for another episode of Believe in Boyt with Ryato's Kingler team. So, still near the bottom of the ladder. For some reason, I jumped up, like, even though I lost a game, I jumped up super high into beginner tier, so into the second one, which I thought was quite weird, but maybe that came from the rage quit from the previous one, cancelling it out. I don't know how that worked. But still need to get back up to master. Like I said, with these ones, I'm just going to be stealing teams from people. If I am building a team, it is for the Liverpool regional that is coming up. So, okay. Veltel looks somewhat awkward for this team. Yeah, there's not too many best ways to deal with the Veltel. Like, I kind of have to rely on the ETERNATUS. Okay. So I'm going to go ETERNATUS Kingler. I will bring Calyrex, and I will bring Rillaboom in the back. I will learn from last time that if there's a Cyclone and Kyogre, I should probably bring the Rillaboom. Even though there's an Yveltal this time. And there was a Calyrex Ice last time. Yveltal looks really bad for this team. Definitely has to rely on the ETERNATUS, but even then you can just get snarled, so... I guess the Metagross with an Assault Vest can tank one, but... that usually skews it towards weakness policy, Raichu. So I'm going to go for a Foam Burst. Like, I need to take care of the Yveltal. I will try and just double this Yveltal. And I will Foam Burst it. Counteract any Airstreams it would go for. They fake out the ETERNATUS. It's not the worst thing, because they're not doing any kind of Nuzzle or Volt Switch themselves shenanigans. If they do Volt Switch themselves, that means that Kingler will probably just get KO'd to the Darkness. But if they are Weakness Policy, then that means that they are not Assault Vest, and Dynamax Cannon will absolutely chunk them. So, this should be okay. This is no longer as okay. This will still hurt the Bronzong, but things could have been better. That was a decent turn 1 play from them. At least with the Wackenberry, then the Kingler should be pretty safe. The worst case here is a Nuzzle. But it's just Fake Out, so that's fine. This should do reasonable damage. Well, that is indeed reasonable damage. So do I go for Flamethrower and Foam Burst here? Because I didn't set up the Rain with a Foam Burst. Is that Weakness Policy? Oh no, it's just Leftovers. Okay. That makes sense. I can Darkness the Bronzong with that KO based on the Foam Burst damage. I don't think so. So it would still need to be a Flamethrower to KO it. But if I do KO it, then Raichu gets to do what it wants, which isn't ideal, but is going to have to be what it is. They protect the Bronzong. That is pretty bad, but they are just hard switching the Raichu. So I could have caught that Kyogre. Nope, it's an Yveltal. I'm still learning Japanese. I can somewhat tell you what the characters say, but... well, this might just straight up KO, actually. It did, okay, so Foam Burst would have been better to hit the Yveltal, but this drop on the Yveltal will mean that Dynamax Cannon would hurt it a lot. And it's a shame I didn't attack the Raichu that turn, because the Dark Aura boosted Darkness would have KO'd the Bronzong. So, like, that was a reasonable turn, but could have been better. And I probably should have been more reliant on the Eternatus to be able to KO the Bronzong. There's the Raichu again. I will attempt to Dynamax Cannon the Yellow Form, and I will attempt to Foam Burst it. They'll probably fake out the Eternatus here. But like I said, I need to be able to take care of that Evelpool somehow, and Kingler's the only real way to do it. I guess Eternatus to an extent as well. But the Foam Burst will cancel out any Airstreams that they want to go for. And technically cancel out a Nuzzle. But not a Nuzzle and an Airstream. They are Dynamaxing now, so it was pretty decent of them to stall out the Dynamax, or stall out them going for Dynamax, I should say, because they'll have 2 more turns on top of me. But if they don't fake out here, then Eternatus should just blow it back because of the draw. And if not, like, I don't think a fake out into a Darkness themselves will just KO. They're just going for Helping Hand, so that was not the play. Like, surely this KOs, even if it would have been Assault Vest, because it's no longer Assault Vest technically if it was because of the drop, and if it was not Assault Vest, this is absolutely KO'd. So, yeah, apparently Eternatus was the answer to the Evelpool. That was a strange Helping Hand. Like, that should have absolutely been fake out into the Eternatus. And the Foam Burst will bring the Raichu slower than the Kingler, and bring it down to its Focus Sash as well. And if they got Kyogre in the back, then I'll be able to beat that pretty comfortably. And that's Incineroar, so Hyper Cutter, I'm pretty sure it was Hyper Cutter, right? Yeah, Hyper Cutter on Kingler is like another niche that it has, because it can't be intimidated. So I can just go for Grab Hammer into the Incineroar pretty comfortably. But instead, I will just go for a Sludge Bomb and a knockoff into the Raichu, because if they fake out one of them, then the other one will be able to KO the Raichu. So this is slightly better. I don't need to take the KO on the Incineroar yet, because if I miss Crab Hammer into the Incineroar and then be able to get an Electroweb or a Nuzzle or anything, then that would be a way back for them. But now if I just make that play and stall out being able to go for the Crab Hammer into the Incineroar, I'm just going to show you that it would almost certainly KO by going for a Protect. Then this is the best way around. Like, that guarantees the win. Whereas if I Crab Hammer the Incineroar straight away and miss, then it opens up potential for things to come back if they got Nuzzle, because then they can Nuzzle paralyze me forever. Don't think they would have been able to come back in that, even if I'd have just gone for Great Crab Hammer. But they were Volt Switch, were they? Weakness Policy, they were. So yeah, like they were always being KO'd. They didn't have Protect or anything, so just the way Vincent standards. No Bounce. You should probably have Bounce on your Scyther, because Speed Control is very sweet. And yeah, that's standard stuff. Still going with the climb. Pretty sure it registered my my loss as a win in terms of climbing, which was quite funny. But we take those. It was an intentional loss so that it would actually just be quicker, and then me climb up. Like I said, I think it's 12, like plus 12, theoretically, to climb up back into Master Ball. Okay, that's a bit of a scary team. But there's no speed control outside of Airstream, so they don't have much for Kingler. The Kingler getting the Foam Bursts off will be pretty decent. They don't have anything that outspeeds Calyrex either. Unless it's a Scarf on the Kyogre. I think I'll go in DD and Calyrex to start off with. The Rillaboom is decent, but I think I prefer Kingler as the most likely Dynamax candidate. Might be disrespecting Rillaboom a bit by not bringing it to matches it probably should come to. But oh well. I have confidence in Kingler. Okay, so they can't Sucker Punch me, which is pretty nice. And what's the best way around here? I don't have Will-O-Wisp, but I'd Will-O-Wisp the Zacian if I had it, but I don't. I have Trick Room, which is something worth considering, but I don't think so. I think Helping Hand Expanding Force is probably better. Mainly because I want to know if it KOs a Cinderace. Like, it KOs a Cinderace, but does it KO a Max Cinderace? Probably still not. But I want to do this just to learn. Like, we'll see what happens here. They're almost certainly going to Airstream. So it may have been worth going for Trick Room because of the Airstream that should be coming out. But, oh, no, they are not Dynamaxing, so that is surely KOing a Cinderace unless they're Focus Sash. They Sucker Punch in the Psychic Terrain. We are right at the bottom of the ladder, so makes sense. Oh no, actually, they made themselves resist the. No, that still makes sense. That play does actually make sense because they were immune to the Expanding Force. So like that's not unreasonable to Sucker Punch there. That is definitely acceptable in my opinion. But now the Zacian has been put pretty much into Helping Hand Astral Barrage range. So the play that they should probably make would be protect the Zacian and Airstream here. And again, the punish to that is Follow Me and Trick Room. But then I've still got fast Pokemon waiting in the back. And if I go into Kingler and Dynamax it, then Foam Burst counteracts the Trick Room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Expanding Force, and I'm just going to Astral Barrage. No, I'm going to still Helping Hand, because I think I need Helping Hand to be able to KO the Zacian. But that was actually a smart Sucker Punch. They're not Dynamaxing here, which is quite interesting. But, like, I do appreciate that Sucker Punch in Psychic Terrain. But they didn't protect the Zacian. That still does so much to Cinderace. Calyrex is busted. And then what's now from the Cinderace? Just Pliable. Is that going to be able to KO the Indeedee? Or is it just going into the Calyrex? It should probably be going into the Calyrex. It went into the Indeedee, so yeah, no, it's not going to KO. So that was a misstep from them, I think. Since now I can still get a +1 Astral Barrage off with the Calyrex. I think I'd have preferred to see a Dynamax from the Cinderace there, because you turned into a Dark type at that point. Scarf Dracovish can't outspeed Calyrex, because you need to be, what is it, 149, and Dracovish reaches 139. So I can go for Helping Hand and Astral Barrage here, and I should be fine. So this should KO both. Well, this is reasonably straightforward. That was a super cool Sucker Punch, but didn't capitalise on it. If they had Bounce, then they should have Airstreamed. If it's just Kyogre in the back, then maybe that's Choice Scarf. If it is, then I'll protect the Indeedee just in case. Well, it doesn't even matter, because if they are Choice Scarf, then they're facing down Eternatus and Kingler, and then if I can just go for White Guards if they are Scarf. So we're just Helping Hand and Expanding Force. Dynamax Assault Vest should be able to survive, but if it doesn't Dynamax, then it wouldn't. So yeah, that was a Hyper Offense team, but not making use of Speed Control, which you still need to do on Hyper Offense teams. Because if you're not picking up KOs, like the point of Hyper Offense is you KO the Pokemon so that you just don't take any damage. It was Assault Vest, so it would have been able to take it. But did it have bounce? Yeah, it had bounce, so I'd have liked to see an airstream on the second turn. Like, the Cycle Punch first turn was sweet, but it needs to be bounced the next one. That is a Scarf Dracovish that is super slow. So, that is a really awkward speed stat to hit with the Zacian. Like, if you're plus speed, you should probably be max speed. No Sucker Punch, interesting. And that's pretty... Oh, Chesto over Lum. So they don't care about what it was. And yes, nice. Pokeball tier, let's go. Need those BP, thank you very much. It shouldn't be too long until getting back to Master. I also don't know how many matches I'm going to do with each team, because if I do 5, will that get stale? If I do just 1, then that's probably not enough. Like, if you want to put in the comments and tell me how long you think... I guess it's the question of the day. YouTubers do question of the day, right? So the question of the day is, how many matches should I do with each team? Because I'm just going to be stealing teams, like I said. I'm not going to be building my own for these videos. Like, the building I'm doing is for Liverpool. So, what do you think is the optimal number of videos I should do with each team before I change? Celesteela, interesting. Okay. Don't have an ice move on the Metagross, else it would have been still pretty decent here against the Landorus, but not quite. Need to be wary of White Guard that come out, so that's awkward for Calyrex if it is White Guard on the Celesteela. If it is just the offensive one, then that's not too bad. I really don't have much for Celesteela. I'm going to lead Kingler here. I'm going to get the Foam Bursts going straight away. I don't want to Trick Room with the Calyrex. Like, I could. I think I'm actually going to lead with it. And then final one should probably be Rillaboom. Yeah, I don't have much for Celesteela here. Okay, pretty standard beat. So then... White Guard and Trick Room could be super sweet here. But if they Dynamax the Kyogre, that is quite awkward. And if they have Encore on the Whimsicott as well, which we'll pick up now that Marco won the IC with Encore on Whimsicott. I'm going to do that. I think it's funny. Well, that's a good start. And the fact that there was no Dynamax is a great start. So I just need to be wary of the Encore that could come out. So I could Dynamax the Calyrex here. And if I do, then Encore doesn't matter. I think that might be worthwhile. If I go for a knockoff into the... No, I'll go for... What else do they have? That's not the way I look. It's been a while. Yeah, they've got no water resist in the back, so I will just Crab Hammer the Kyogre, and I will Dynamax and Mindstorm into the Kyogre. And if they Dynamax the Kyogre here, that could be a little bit awkward, but if they don't, then this is a KO for sure. And then the Mindstorm means that there's no more shenanigans that can come out from the Whimsicott. That's not the one you want. That is not particularly going to help you here. That was decent damage. But this should KO, right? Only Assault Vest would survive. Not Assault Vest, so. So that is decent. And I'm going to be able to make use of their Tailwinds because my last 2 turns of Dynamax will be in their Tailwind, so Calyrex should still underspeed their Pokemon. Unless it's something like Celesteela that comes in, and Celesteela should be EV to still be able to outspeed, given that it's a Whimsicott team. But just Ditto. That's fine. You are copying my Calyrex, so you are completely open to the knockoff here. So I will just knock off the Calyrex, and I will Phantasm it as well, which should get redirected into the Whimsicott after the knockoff KOs the Calyrex. If they Dynamax the Calyrex here, it might survive the knockoff, but then the follow-up Phantasm KOs. So Max Guard would probably be the best thing that they could do from the from their Ditto. But things are looking decent. Like, things are always good when they Tailwind as you Trick Room. So they are Dynamaxing. Here comes the Whimsicott. But Max Guard would be the best play that they have available at the moment. But even then, I'll still just be able to do exactly the same thing and still be fine. Yeah, nice, nice, they got it. I guess Trick Room on the Whimsicott would be the worst thing, but surely they'd have gone for it the previous turn. So yeah, just Moonblast. This should 2-shot the Kingler because its special defense is so bad. That is a 2-shot for sure. Hopefully they don't get the double Max Guard here, which again would be their best play. It's interesting to see what the last move on Whimsicott is. Because Moonblast, Helping Hand, and Tailwind are pretty standard. And then it is that 4th move. Some people like Protect, because they're cowards. Some people like Encore, like Marco did. Okay. Like, I can see the logic, but yeah, no, that stores out the Tailwind at least, so yeah, that is still something. They still have the Sash on the Whimsicott as well. What did I have in the back? I have Rillaboom and Eternatus, right? But that KO's because of my Grenade boosts, so that's still fine. Now they have a Scarf Calyrex that's... because the Tailwind's gone. I know, I'm still fine. Because I've still got one more turn of Trick Room. So the assumed Scarf would still mean that they outspeed me. So even though they KO the Kingler here with Moonblast, that is fine. Especially because I can go into Rillaboom here, fake out the Whimsicott, and then they can't even break my Focus Sash in case they aren't in case they're not Scarf on the Ditto. And then they win the speed tie. So this was pretty straightforward. As soon as Trick Room was set up into a Tailwind, like I just had to click buttons. I didn't make any predictions here. Very pleased I didn't see the Celesteela as well. Like, that would have most likely been an issue. So a little bit surprised not to see it, but there we go. We take those. Is the last move on Whimsicott going to be something that can save them? Surely not, right? There's got to be nothing they can do. Unless it still is Encore, and then if they Encore me, that would just fail, right? Because I've done, if I can speak, I've done the max moves, but they may not be Scarf on the Calyrex based on the fact that they went for Protect. But this KOs the Whimsicott, so things are still absolutely fine. I hope I get to find out why than they were on the... I guess if they don't Protect this next turn, then that would show that they are not Choice Scarf, but who knows. Because this is pretty straightforward now. Grassy Glide. Actually, no, I'm going to high horsepower here because I want to find out if they were Focus Sash, if they let me. Like, if they are not Scarf, then I just want to find out. So yeah, they are not Choice Scarf, and I just want a Speed tie. So that's interesting. Are they Focus Sash? They are Focus Sash, okay. So at least I got to confirm that. So that's pretty nice. But I'm also Focus Sash, so it doesn't matter. Actually, that probably does matter, right? Because now they get a Beast Boost. Does my Eternatus survive? So was that a throw just to find some information? Potentially. To be fair, if I'm doing that and finding out if they're Sash, I should probably protect the Rillaboom. So a little bit awkward. But Eternatus should survive, right? Are they +2 or +3? They are +3. Oh, that might KO. I wanted information. I wanted to learn. Don't blame me. Oh, I want the Speed tie, so it doesn't matter. It's weird, I never win the Speed ties. Even though it's 50% of the time, I never win the Speed ties. But the game knew that I would have won if I just clicked Grass Glide. I just wanted to find out the information, so... I'm going to assume that it was potentially switcheroo on the... no, it wasn't. No, it might still be, because when I went Fake Out, they were like down to the last 2 Pokemon, so hopefully they're going to let me see. You've got to assume that it would be. Yes, I do want to check. Got to be switcheroo, right? Alright, pretty standard. Again, is 209 the actual speed stat it hits? It's not right, it's 220. That's the second 209 speed that I've seen on Zacians. Like, I'm just going to double check that, right? I'm not making it up that it's 220 as its max. Yeah, it's 220, so that's 2 209s. That outspeeds Dragon Ball, right? Maybe? Not even. Yeah, not even. That's weird. That's weird that there's been 2 209 ones, unless it's... Oh, it's level 50. Oh, okay, no, I know what it is. Yeah, I'm an idiot. That's the regular Zacian. Like, hero of something battles, right? So yeah, it is max speed. So it's not weird at all. Don't worry, comment section. I know what I did. I know what I was doing wrong there. It was Mental Herb, okay, and Charm. Charm is reasonable. Charm is definitely not used enough on Whimsicott, but yeah, that was decent. I'm glad I wasn't punished for that endgame.